But he had asked for it. He wanted a true demonstration of the true meaning. So he went out and announced. And unfortunately, he thought for himself, there's so many who came. Said, yes, we are hungry, we are hungry, we are hungry. And there was a procession of hungry people led by Abu Huraira, who presented themselves to Hazrat Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And he sat there with a bowl of milk in front of him. You know, he arranged them, seated them in a certain order. He asked Abu Huraira to sit on his left. And told other Sahaba to sit around him, starting from the right. Now, Abu Huraira's heart must be very strong not to have sunk completely. Because he knew full well Hadhrat Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam always distributed from the right. And that is exactly what he did. He offered the milk to this man sitting to his right and said, drink. And the hungry man drank until he was filled to the brim. And yet milk was left in the bowl. And Hazrat Abu Huraira reports this. I was watching him, I said, look here, thank God some milk is left, but what would happen to when it passes through others? But Rasulullah didn't stop at that. He said, drink some more and drink some more. And he repeated this with everyone. Yet the milk was not finished. Until Abu Huraira's turn came at last. So he drank and drank and drank, and Rasulullah went on sitting some more, some more, some more, until he said, Ya Rasulullah, the milk is flow out of my nails, between my nails and the skin, the joint of the nails. They say the milk will begin to flow from out of my nails. So Rasulullah smiled and said, give me the milk. And yet there was milk and he drank it himself at the end. وَيُسِرُونَ عَلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ وَيُتِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ. The other meaning of ala hubbihi is at a time of hunger when you fall in love with food, yet you prefer others to your own cause. So what a wonderful demonstration of this hadith and tawakkul. This is tawakkul.
Yes.
Rasulullah knew that the milk will not finish because he was doing it for the sake of Allah. To demonstrate to Abu Huraira, this is the meaning of yusiruna ala anfusihim or yutimul ta'am. So it did not finish until it reached Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It has many other lessons. He must have been the hungriest of all, because he preferred every other person to him. And he waited for his turn in the end, at last. And he preferred every other hungry person to himself. And this was the miracle of tawakkul. So tawakkul happened here, not in the mosque where he was asking questions,
Okay.
So if you understand the meaning of tawakkul, this is how you should read the tradition and understand the meaning of tawakkul. In case of Hadhrat Khalifatul Masih Awwal, it is related that he was promised by God that he would take care of his needs because he has left all his means for the sake of Allah when he reported to Masih Maud al-Islam. And even before, he had that special trend, a special relationship with God, whereby he would continue to sacrifice his things for the sake of Allah and hoping for the best from God. So God promised him, I will take care of you. And he did. And when Allah promises that he would take care of somebody, he demonstrates it. And a new concept of tawakkul begins from then on, which is not an ordinary concept to be shared by everybody. Like Hazrat Masih Maud al-Islam, when he was so worried about the impending death of his father the following night, when it was revealed to him that وَالسَّمَاءِ وَالطَّارِقِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقِ. We swear by God and we bring witness not to God, but was-samai wa-tariq. We bring the sky, the heaven to witness. Was-samai wa-tariq, and that which is to appear at night. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الطَّارِقُ, and what can tell you what it is which is going to appear during the night? Because his father was ill, he understood the meaning immediately that the father is going to pass out during the same night. And he was worried. And he wondered what would happen to him after the father. It was then that he received his second wahi. أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبْدَهُ? You are worried about the death of your father. Was he who provided for you? It is we. And we will always provide for you. أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبْدَهُ? You are the servant of God, and Allah is sufficient for his servant. When this revelation came, as Masih Maud shuddered with the awe of this and repented that those small moments of doubt as to what would happen to him. He cried and sought forgiveness. And there and then he decided that he would have it turned into a signet ring and wear all his life to remind him that it is Allah who is sufficient for him. And this is the one he made, this is the one I'm wearing now. So this is tawakkul. Because this tawakkul it springs from a promise of God, which was fulfilled throughout his life and even afterwards in case of many others. So these two incidents have a message of tawakkul, but the way I have explained, and there is no contradiction whatsoever in it. Is there?
No, it's very clear.
Thank you.
Do we have time for another question?
Yes, please.
My other question is regarding the time of Jummah prayer. Some of us who work in the center of the city in Toronto, it's too hard for us to come up here. And most of the time we have to attend the Jummah prayer during our 1 hour time allotted for lunch. Most people in the Canadian and North American offices, they take their lunch anywhere between 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock.
12?
Between 12 to 2.
Yes.
Now, it has been a practice for us in downtown Toronto that we say our Jummah at 1 o'clock. Now, I understand in some of the winter nights, 1 o'clock could be before the time of Zawal of the sun.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
The Jummah prayer is the alternative of Zuhr prayer. And Zuhr time begins after the decline of the sun. Even if it has declined by 1 minute past, the time begins. So if it depends on the timing of the period, it is not necessary in every case, in the case of every city, that right at the strike of 12 o'clock, that will be the midday. Because the midday, the timings of every country are calculated region-wise with relation to the rise of sun, not in the whole region, because it doesn't rise at the same time in all the parts of the region. If in one time zone the sun rises at 5 o'clock in the morning, for instance, the point with reference to which they have calculated this would be just one point in that vast region. And the timings of the sunrise would vary from that point eastwards and westwards both. So this is not a question of a generalized answer, it's a question of finding out exactly where you are placed. And then it is possible that you are placed in a situation, in a geographical situation, where the sun may decline before 12 o'clock. And yet you also may be situated in a position where the sun may decline half an hour after 12 o'clock. So these matters have to be decided with reference to the scientists who know exactly the answers of timings. Then Jummah can be said as early as possible, but not by violating the law, the rule that it should be said after the decline.
Actually, that was what my question